Hi, welcome back to another one of my car videos, and I'm actually in right now. I'm actually in the 2015 Subaru Legacy Outback. It's a really new car, and yeah, I've been driving this car around for a bit. The car feels really heavy and slightly a little bit sluggish. Why am I in this car? Because I actually sent out my Scooby, my regular daily drive, to the dealer for the yearly maintenance, and this is the what is that? The replacement car that I could drive around for today. So basically, in today's video, I kind of want to talk about the reason why I got a 2013 brand new Subaru WRX. And basically, I was born in Singapore. I mean, in my previous videos, some of you guys might already know, in the 80s to the 90s. So the car scene during that time, with influences like Initial D and Wagon Midnight, basically shows all that Japanese influences. I grew up loving cars, Japanese cars in general. So I've always been, an Evo fanboy. I don't deny that. I love Evos, Mitsubishi Lancer Evolutions. Evo 3 were just before my time, and Evo 4 was the first car that I actually was introduced to when I was like I think 16 or 17. And then of course you have to credit all this car knowledge and interest to Initial D. Okay, so basically, I was a great Evo fan. Evo 4 started with Evo 4, and then Evo 5 was at one point in time my favorite car of all time. I still like it today, and I actually drove one. Actually, for a while, it was one of my friend's car. He's got an Evo 5, so I drove it around for a while. It's still a nice car, but it's just a little dated. Evo 6, I didn't really like it. It was just weird. Evo 7 was even weirder, like that new design, when it first came out. I just couldn't digest that particular design. Evo 8 was pretty nice, and Evo 9 was probably the finest Evo. By far, in terms of design, the one that I like the most. And before I moved into my new place, up to last year, one of my neighbors, a Japanese neighbor, actually drove an Evo 9 MR, a white one, and he's kind of like he didn't really drive his Evo 9 MR much, like he had the car for about like 3 years, and it's only like 10,000 odd mileage, so he barely drive it, and there was still like blue stickers covering the door sills, so I just drove his car. I didn't really took a video, but maybe I should ask him and do a video of his car. But basically, yeah, it was a really nice car. I really like that car, and I'm really glad that I actually got to, test drive his car. And the overall design of the Evo 9 is just very nice. I still like it. By today's standard, it's still one of the finest looking car. But the interior feels a little bit dated, and the wipers, the front and back wipers, were also a little bit dated, and the car came with stock 17 rims. Cars these days 18, maybe 19, so 17 is just a little small. Not too bad, but I prefer much bigger tires and rims. So I kind of wanted to get myself like a really good car back in 2013, and I was actually thinking, should I just get a secondhand Evo 9 MR? I mean, there weren't any brand new ones back then in 2013, but you can get really good ones, really good condition ones here in Japan, but they're all like used secondhand. And basically, being here in Japan, I have basically I can get any high performance car. I mean, Japanese car I want. Any car that that I always wanted to own. Back when I was in Singapore, I could basically get it in Japan. I mean, they're not that cheap, not that expensive here, but I mean, I have a family and all that, so I actually asked my wife if I should get a car, what kind of car should I get, and her minimum requirement were 4-wheel drive and 4-door, because here in Japan where we live, it actually snows in winter. Not a lot, but a decent amount, and the roads tends to get a little icy at times. So I've seen a lot of cars that are not four-wheel drives, and in maybe front-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive. And even though those cars are equipped with proper snow tires, I've still seen a lot of those cars struggling to get up the slopes, and maybe to certain ski resorts and stuff. So my wife knows that as well. So yeah, her requirement were four-wheel drive and four-door, and I asked her any other requirements. She didn't say anything, so naturally in my mind I wanted a rally bred car. um, like other cars like a Nissan Silvia, S15, and the Honda Type R and stuff, which is not four-wheel drive. Even those are really nice cars, but my natural the natural thing that came to my mind was like four-wheel drive, four-door rally cars. So when you talk about rally cars in Japan, it's either a Mitsubishi or a Subaru. I mean, these two has been bit of rivals since like early 90s, when the whole rally scene kind of like went into full boom, and the trend kind of died off like late 90s to the early 2000s. So I've been Evolution fan for a long time. I mean, back then, even in Singapore or even in Japan or anywhere in the world, you're either an Evo fan or a WRX fan. Evos has this particular image of being much drivable, having a little bit more prestige, and much more refined as compared to a Subaru, which is usually raw, have that signature boxer sound, and basically, yeah, I mean, it's like a Canon camera versus a Nikon camera. It's always that Apple versus Mac thing. So it's a Evo versus a Rex thing. So yeah, I like more Evos than WRXs. So going back, in 2013, I did my research, and for a while, I wanted to actually get a second-hand Evo 9MR, but in the end, based on the points that I raised earlier, if I just spend a little bit more, I could get myself a brand new car. And the car is not just for me, even though I'm the one driving my car, to work every day, even for outstations like 4 or 5 hours to another part of Japan for work and stuff. So I'm the one always driving. So I wanted to get a car that I want to drive, and not a car because the family needed it, you see. So so yeah, I wanted to get a brand new car. I didn't want to get a second-hand Evo now, even though I liked it a lot. So I looked around and did my research on an Evo 10. I didn't actually test drive the Evo 10, but based on the information that I gathered, the Evo 10 has a much harsher suspension, much stiffer. That is not good for the family and the kids. And the back seats don't collapse, don't fall down, 60-40 split. So I like snowboarding in the winter. If I don't get that split, I have to put roof racks just to stash my snowboard and stuff. So that was one of the reasons why I didn't want to get an Evo 10. And the Evo 9MR was a 6-speed manual. The Evo 10 was a 5-speed manual. So Mitsubishi kind of went backwards with the gearbox. I don't know why, but they should just stick with the 6-speed gearbox. Evo 9 uses a 4G63 engine, which was in all the older Evos, and Evo 10 uses a brand new engine. So, and I didn't really like the design of Evo 10. It looks fat and short. I mean, no offense to the Evo fanboys, but it's just my personal opinion. So with the Evo 9 secondhand out of the picture, Evo 10, there were a lot of points that I didn't like more than the points that I actually liked about the car. So I started looking towards the Subaru side, and to be honest, I didn't really like the new GR series of the WRXs. The one from the 2011 to 2013 model, especially the four-door sedan model. I didn't like hatchbacks as well, so I like that that wing, the iconic giant wing in the Evos and the WRXs. So I was looking into getting a brand new 2013 WRX STi. I didn't really like that car initially, but I knew that car was going to change into a totally new Subaru WRX. There were rumors, there were pictures, back in 2013 of how the new WRX STi is gonna be. I didn't really like the new design, so I thought to myself, if I get the car back then, I still get to keep the old design because you know, the new Subaru design is pretty much like Honda, Nissan, all the Japanese company are kind of like making cars in their entire lineup looking all the same. They kind of want to like follow like BMWs or like Audis, where you know the different series of the car all look the same, but the European cars has been doing that for a while, but Japanese is just catching on, and there was just something that I didn't really like, because Japanese cars used to be, you know, one brand and a whole varieties of different looking cars. So yeah, I actually went for a test. I actually test drove the 2013 WRX STi here in Japan. I like it. The interior, it's modern, but not the best. I mean, you know, there's still plasticky parts and stuff, but you know, you're paying for basically the performance. So weight savings and cheaper, lighter materials in the car is just very normal in WRXs. And here in Japan, we don't get regular Rexes. We only get the STi versions of the WRXs. And the STi, WRX STIs in Japan are all running on the EJ2 2-liter engine. Then the one that I got in the 2013 was EJ207 engine. I mean, all the 2.5-liter engine are for export models. So in 2013, I could my choices were the base WRXs, the STi of course, the A line, which was basically the automatic WRX, and then the Spec C version of the STi was basically the stripped down version of the regular base STi, with a different turbo and a lot of weight saving parts. The main reason why I actually got the 2013 WRX STi was because the car had a 6-speed manual transmission compared to the Evo 5-speed. The car had a pretty nice updated refined suspension, stock suspension that is a little bit easier to live with on a daily drive. The seats were comfortable, but they're not Recaros. But you know, I don't really mind that. The car had 18-inch stock rims as compared to the Evo 9. Evo 10 has of course 18-inch stock rims, and the WRX, the 2013 one, didn't have that iconic boxer rumble because Subaru swapped out the unequal length headers for the equal length headers to utilize the twin scroll turbo for the Japanese WRXs STi. I mean, all the export models uses a single scroll. Only the Japanese one has a twin scroll turbo, I think, if I'm not wrong. So, you know, straight from the factory, twin scroll turbo will only work with the equal length header. So you don't have that rumble sound. The car was very silent when I first got it, you know. So I have to, you know, change the mufflers and everything just to feel the car. And basically, yeah, those were just the reasons why I decided to get the WRX STi over the Evo 10. And I've driven the Evo 9, you know, my friend's one. I've never driven an Evo 10, but I kind of like the gearbox of the WRXs. They're not, they feel pretty nice, you know, not notchy, not harsh, but they feel really good in the hand. I like it over the Mitsubishi ones. So yeah, that was one of the reasons. And now, you know, in this brand new, not brand new, in this 2015 Legacy Outback, and all this little side door parts here are all soft touch materials. Even the dashboard, you know, all soft touch. My racks is all hard plastic, so they kind of rattle a lot. So that was just one of those complaints that I have for getting a WRX STi. But yeah, I like my car, and I'm glad that, you know, you guys now will know that why I decided to get a WRX STi over an Evo. I mean, Evo is still a nice car, but Evo 10 is just not for me. I will pick an Evo 9 MR over a I will pick an Evo 9 MR over Evo 10 anytime. The Evo 10 just looks weird. Okay, thanks for checking out my videos. I'll see you guys soon in my future videos. In the meantime, take care and see ya. Bye.